Hello, and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Scale, the podcast. I'm Jen.
And I'm Erin. Welcome. We're so happy you're here.
Yeah, for those of you who are maybe have just stumbled upon us or have been listening for a while, we just wanted to reintroduce ourselves. Erin and I have been coworkers and friends for almost 20 years now, working together in the weight health industry, almost 40 years between us in experience of helping guide men and women on their journeys towards better health. But about 6 months ago, maybe a year ago, Erin came to me with the idea of starting a podcast to help women in midlife to kind of reach their health goals, to figure out how to live the life that they want without sacrificing their health. And so here we are.
Welcome back. This is our sixth episode in the Holiday Survival Guide. We started off kind of doing an intro, kind of thinking about thinking about what the holidays would look like. Then we went into family boundaries. We talked about food and body health. Then we went into time and energy, which kind of leads to maybe a little bit of talking about stress. Yeah. And then last week we talked about budgeting, the financial end of the holidays. So this week we're here to just kind of wrap up the series, talk about the things that we learned. When this episode airs next week, it will be Christmas. So yay. So happy holidays, happy Hanukkah to everybody who's celebrating, happy Kwanzaa, happy everything that everybody's celebrating. It's a happy time of year. But we're going to talk about what we discovered, what's working and what didn't work as well, because we have found that reflecting back is such a powerful tool for us to learn how to move forward. What we want to bring forward and what we want to leave in the past. So Jen, what's working and what didn't go as well as planned?
Oh boy. Yeah, a few different things. But I first really do want to just reiterate what you said about reflection, that as we're hoping you are all listening, sometime between that Christmas day and New Year's Day, that this is going to be that time of our season of life where things might be getting a little quiet, right? The day is over. Maybe we're taking down decorations. Maybe we're just staring at the mess of wrapping and wondering what is going to happen with all of this. But before we rush into the New Year's and go right from that into like New Year's resolutions and let's, fix ourselves and make all these big changes, before we can do any of that, we're really just here to invite you to reflect into something kind of powerful in connecting the dots without judgment, without guilt, and without that all or nothing thinking, to really figure out, what do I want to take into 2026 and what do I need to tweak so that it can help me better? We're not going to use the word fail or what didn't necessarily go our way, but how can I learn from that? And so I guess if I'm looking back on the last 5 weeks of our series, I would say I probably was caught off guard a little bit by all of the expectations and being pulled in many different directions. But my biggest one would probably be the financial challenge. I think one of our suggestions was to maybe sit down and make that budget before we go out shopping. I sometimes am doing that on the go. And then it will be, oh, one more thing, or this is a perfect item for that person. And oh my gosh, we have to have it. It won't hurt if I tweak the budget a little bit, and up it goes. On top of that, as you may know, we're having a wedding in a couple weeks here too. And so trying to figure out the budget for that, the budget for the travel, getting all of my kids where they need to be, all that we need for the wedding. I did not manage my budget as well as I should have. So that is, I guess, heading into the new year, I need to put some systems into place so that I'm not, as we talked about, as I'm not hiding from the credit card bill come, the middle of January.
You open it. No, you open it.
No, you open it. Yeah, no, I don't. Just rip it up and throw it away. No, I'm just kidding.
If only. If that's easy, right?
Right.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot. When you were describing it, I was like, I was getting a little tired just thinking about it. And I've been thinking about you and all of the things to get ready to have a wedding out of state on
Yeah.
top of Christmas and the holidays and everything that it entails. So I think you're doing a great job. You just,
Oh,
be gentle with yourself. And I mean, it's not like this is something that you do every day. So we learn.
yeah.
We learn. So when the next one decides to get married out of state, you might say, not at Christmas, not at
Oh my gosh.
Christmas.
I hope the next one gets married locally
Yeah.
and that it's a little ways away. We've
Yeah.
got some time.
All right. So
Yeah. What
budgeting
about
for
you?
you, for me, let's see. For me, it was that I really was not prepared for healthy eating.
Mm,
I overestimated my time, overestimated, underestimated. I didn't realize how tired I would be, how I would run out of time, and then I would just
mm.
eat whatever. And though I've managed to stay status quo, which we all know, I'm like, I'm just one scale visit away from reality check going,
Yes. Yeah.
no, you didn't. I realized that for next year, I'm going to be more proactive and
Mm,
freeze some things ahead of time. And
okay.
instead of thinking that I can do it all, I'm going to be more crock pot ready
Okay.
and just lean into that instead of thinking, oh, it'll just be like my regular life when the holidays are never. I don't know why I thought I could do that, but it
Right.
happens.
Yes. And I think those are those challenges that we face because we know it. I feel like we know it up here, we know it in our heart, we know it in our gut, but we still haven't put those dots together of, hey, if I were to throw this crock pot meal in, I will have less stress and I won't have to think about what's for dinner tonight. I will already have that ready. And now maybe I have more time for that next, to-do list as we're being pulled in all these different directions. So whether it's a financial budget or managing our time budget, these are things that we really need to figure out why it's important to us and how it helps us. Otherwise, it just becomes another thing on the to do list. And we know from experience that many things on the to do list don't get to doed. They don't get done. And they just
Yeah.
get moved on to the next to do list. And so we really need to use this opportunity in this time to figure out, do I really care about that? How would it help me to have meals frozen so that I don't fall into this trap? Because it won't be 365 days from now at the next, December month. It could be as soon as January or February for some of us that have, family birthdays or other obligations or vacations or whatever. We're going to be thrown right back into this, let alone any of the not so great things that come along with health and hospital, visits or stays or medical diagnosis, etc.
100%. Yeah, for sure. So, what went well for you? What are you proud
Ooh,
of?
ooh, let's see. It's so easy to think about the negatives, right? And
Isn't
like
it?
focus on, oh my gosh, I wish I would have done this better and I wish I would have done that better. Um, right away, I'm going negative. Again, I'm thinking about my activity being down low. So I guess, although that is something I need to learn from because, hello, we live in the Chicago suburbs with lots of snow and, well, some years snow. This year, a lot of snow,
Yeah.
but always cold and always unpredictable with ice and, the temperature and the road conditions and all of that. So it's not our first rodeo when it comes to, the December winter months here in the suburbs of Chicago. But I guess if I push that aside and give myself some grace for saying my activity has been in the pooper, most of my meals have still been fairly healthy. I had set some guidelines about, not eating store-bought treats. And I think I gave into that once at home over something that was kind of dumb and I kind of forgot about it and I didn't even think of it as a holiday treat being store-bought. It was just a store-bought treat that was in my house. And after I ate it, I was like, oh yeah, that kind of should have been in that category. Shouldn't have done that. But otherwise, because I set that little boundary, that little rule in place, I followed through. I'm kind of holding out for my mother-in-law's fudge. I didn't even have a store-bought treat at Thanksgiving. So that was one thing I've been proud of, and I've been really more intentional. That's a funny word. More intentional about increasing my protein first thing in the morning. And so trying to implement just that, give my body the energy and my brain the fuel that it needs to manage the holidays.
Those are all really good things. And I'm sure
Yeah.
that that definitely helped to balance. That's right. That's right. I'm sure that helped to balance everything out. And we're not perfect. And it's unreasonable to think that we are going to start being perfect all of a sudden. So,
Right.
baby steps.
That's right.
And planning ahead, thinking ahead. And notice there's kind of a pattern that when we take the time to be, I don't know if the word's mindful, or just kind of look at our circumstances and say,
Yeah.
what is within our control?
Mm.
For me, our second episode was about family boundaries. So for me,
Yeah.
I plan to have that little game at the Thanksgiving table
Yeah.
to jumpstart the conversation. That worked out great.
I
And
love that.
so for me, we have another holiday coming up. There
Okay.
will be more conversation. Thinking about ahead of time, what are some topics, what are some things that
Hmm.
I can ask the people at the table to get the
Yeah.
conversation moving? Because most people love to talk about themselves. So if you ask them a question about themselves, you can work the conversation in a different direction. Just a little something I've learned along the
Yeah.
way. But it was a much more pleasant holiday celebration when took the conversation from going down the political end
Mm.
to doing more of a thoughtful holiday. What do you love? And that got
Yeah.
everybody like it gave that warm and fuzzy thought. But again, it was I have to think of this in ahead of time.
Right.
I had to write out the questions ahead of time. I had to do those things. Thinking ahead seems to be what worked well for both of us. So,
Right. It helps.
yeah, it definitely helps. So, for our listeners out there, what did you do ahead of time? What worked well?
Yeah.
What didn't go as planned? What would you like to see different next holiday season? And what curiosity, drop in the comments. Which one of the Holiday Survival Guide episodes resonated with you the most? We would love to hear so that for next year, because we'll be doing
Yeah.
this next year too.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, what would help you?
Hmm.
Where are your pain points and where are the areas that you're like, no, I got this. So we'd love
Hmm.
to hear that.
Right. And as we've been talking about reflecting and looking forward to the new year, there's also the opportunity to just focus on that joy. And even if it's not just this one time a year to say, what happened, the last 5 weeks, am I where I want to be come January of 2026? No matter what the answer is to that, whether it's how you were with your family, how you represented yourself, how you looked in photos, what the scale says, no matter what that is, if we took time to daily reflect and remind ourselves about just gratitude and joy or things that we're proud of in the moment, that begins a new habit loop in the brain, and the brain starts to seek out those joyful moments and those moments of positivity versus how most of us kind of look right away to all the things that didn't go quite as planned these last 5 or 6 weeks. And so that might be something to begin as we head into this next season of life, to really kind of implement some structure around how can I end my day on this new positivity note? How can I be proud of myself, which will then lead to the next happy and healthier choice that I might be making? And we're leaving new imprints in the brain to be looking for that instead of always focusing on the less joyful moments of life.
It would definitely change the narrative and that tape that runs in the background.
Yeah.
So, because we all know we have that little voice that says those things that sometimes sometimes they get in the way, and the brain believes whatever we tell it, which is
Right. And
which
the
is kind
brain
of
does not always
scary.
tell us the truth.
That is true. Just because you thought it doesn't mean it's the truth. So,
Yeah. As you step into the new year, Erin and I want to remind you that you are not behind, you are not broken, and you don't need to earn your fresh start. You've already begun just through the reflection process. So take one lesson from the holidays, one habit that's worth continuing, and one insight that will help you move forward with clarity instead of criticism. That's more than enough. As we have done the past 5 weeks, today in the show notes, you can find a link for our final worksheet that will help you reflect on 2025 or at least these last few weeks as we head into 2026.
love it.
All right. Thanks again for supporting us.
Thanks for being here.
Happy holidays, everyone. Thanks again.